Dr. Samira Patel wiped the sweat from her brow as she carefully brushed away centuries of dust from the alien inscription. The weak light of Kepler 186f's distant sun filtered through the excavation tent, casting long shadows across the archaeological site. After 3 years of searching, she had finally found something extraordinary. Dr. Patel, her assistant, James Rodriguez, burst into the tent, his eyes wide with excitement. The deep scanners are showing something massive beneath the surface, about 20 meters down. Samira straightened, her dark eyes gleaming with interest. "Show me." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a structure that defied conventional geometry. It twisted through the ground like a spiral staircase made of impossible angles, each turn emitting a faint energy signature that their instruments barely detected. "This architecture," Samira murmured, "it's unlike anything we've seen from the precursor ruins on Mars or Europa. The energy readings are completely different." James nodded, adjusting his protective suit's environmental controls. "Should we notify Earth Command?" "Not yet," Samira replied, studying the readings. "Let's verify what we're dealing with first. Get the sonic excavators ready." As the sun set and Kepler 186f's 3 moons rose into the purple sky, Samira's team worked tirelessly. The sonic excavators hummed, carefully removing layers of sediment without damaging the artifact beneath. Each meter revealed new mysteries, patterns that seemed to shift when viewed directly, materials that defied analysis. Dr. Patel called out Dr. Rizaf Farhouti, their team's physicist. "These energy signatures are increasing exponentially. Whatever this structure is, it's reacting to our presence." Samira frowned, checking her own readings. The energy patterns were indeed growing stronger, pulsing with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. "Everyone clear the excavation site," she ordered, but it was too late. A brilliant light erupted from the ground, shooting skyward in a pillar of ethereal blue energy. The very air seemed to vibrate with ancient power. As the light faded, Samira found herself standing before an entrance that hadn't existed moments before. The structure had reconfigured itself, revealing a doorway marked with symbols that glowed with an inner fire. "James Rizal, maintain contact from the base camp," she instructed, checking her suit's integrity. "I'm going in." "Samira, that's against every protocol we have," James protested. She smiled grimly. "When has that ever stopped us from making history?" The passage beyond the doorway descended at an impossible angle, yet Samira found she could walk normally, as if gravity itself bent to accommodate the structure's design. Her suit's sensors recorded everything, though half the readings made no sense. After what felt like hours but her chronometer insisted was only minutes, she entered a vast chamber. At its center floated a crystalline object about the size of her fist, suspended in a field of shifting energy. "This is incredible," she breathed, approaching carefully. "The architecture, the energy manipulation, this civilization must have been centuries beyond our current technology." Her scanner revealed no immediate dangers, so she reached out slowly. The moment her gloved hand touched the crystal, images flooded her mind. Stars dying, civilizations rising and falling, and a darkness between galaxies that seemed to watch. And hunger. The crystal pulsed once, then began broadcasting a signal so powerful it overwhelmed her suit's communications system. As she staggered back, she realized with growing dread that the signal wasn't aimed at nearby space. It was reaching across the void between galaxies. "James Rizat," she called over the comm. "We need to contact Earth Command immediately. Something's coming, something that's been waiting a very, very long time." The crystal's pulse quickened, like a heartbeat growing stronger. As Samira rushed back through the twisting passages, she knew that humanity's understanding of its place in the universe was about to change forever. The question was, would we be ready for what answered that ancient signal? Back at the surface, as her team scrambled to establish contact with Earth, Samira studied the still pulsing crystal they'd managed to secure in a containment field. The symbols on its surface were changing, rearranging themselves into patterns that seemed almost familiar. "It's not just a beacon," she realized. "It's a warning or a key." She began translating frantically, knowing that every moment counted. Whatever was coming, humanity needed to be prepared. As the first message became clear, Samira felt a chill run down her spine. The ancient words finally translated were both a promise and a threat. "The void hungers, the gateway opens, the guardians return." The signal continued to pulse across space, growing stronger with each passing moment. Somewhere in the darkness between stars, something ancient stirred in response. Humanity's greatest challenge was about to begin, and it had started here with a discovery that would echo across the cosmos. Captain Marcus Blackwood stood at the helm of the USS Horizon, watching the holographic display as it tracked an anomaly moving through deep space. 3 weeks had passed since Dr. Patel's discovery on Kepler 186f, and strange signals had been appearing across the sector with increasing frequency. "Analysis, Lieutenant Raman," he asked, his weathered face reflecting the blue glow of the ship's instruments. Lieutenant Zara Raman, the ship's science officer, frowned at her console. "The signal pattern matches what we received from Kepler 186f, sir, but it's evolving, growing more complex." The Horizon was Earth's most advanced deep space vessel, equipped with technology that was still classified. Even so, these readings defied explanation. Captain, called out Navigation Officer Trevor O'Brien, his Irish accent thick with concern, "We're picking up something at the edge of our sensor range. It's big." Marcus leaned forward, studying the readings. "How big?" "Initial estimates suggest it's roughly the size of Luna, sir, and it's moving against the stellar currents." The bridge fell silent. Objects that size didn't just move against stellar currents, not unless they were being controlled. "Battle stations," Marcus ordered calmly. "Lieutenant Raman, continue monitoring those signals. O'Brien, plot us an intercept course but maintain safe distance. Security Chief Volkov, I want weapons hot but not locked." "Aye, Captain," Elena Volkov responded, her fingers dancing across the tactical console. "All defense systems online." As the Horizon approached the massive object, more details became clear. It wasn't a solid structure, but rather a swarm of smaller objects moving in perfect synchronization, each one about the size of a small asteroid. "Sir," Zara's voice was tense, "the signal patterns, they're identical to the inscriptions Dr. Patel found in the alien structure. I think these things are responding to whatever she activated." Marcus nodded grimly. "Open a channel to Earth Command, they need to." The ship suddenly lurched, alarms blaring throughout the bridge. "Multiple gravitational distortions," O'Brien shouted. "They're forming some kind of—" A massive tear appeared in space itself, a wound in reality that seemed to swallow light. The swarm of objects began moving toward it with purpose. "Sir," Elena reported, "I'm detecting energy buildups consistent with weapon systems. They're not targeting us, but—" "But what, Chief?" "They appear to be creating a defensive perimeter, almost like they're expecting something to come through that tier." Marcus made a quick decision. "Raman, send all our data on the signals to Dr. Patel's team. O'Brien, maintain our position but be ready for immediate withdrawal. Volkov, I want options if this goes sideways." "Captain," Zara's voice was barely a whisper, "look." The tier in space was growing, and through it came darkness. Not the darkness of space, but something deeper, older, something that moved with intelligence and purpose. "Message from Earth Command, sir," Communications Officer Priya Patel announced. "They're receiving similar reports from across the sector. Multiple tiers are opening. They're ordering all ships to defensive positions." Marcus watched as the swarm of ancient machines took up battle formations. They weren't hostile, they were preparing to defend against something worse. "Send a message to command," he ordered. "Tell them we're staying to observe, and get me a direct line to Dr. Patel. If these machines are responding to what she found, we need to understand why, fast." The darkness continued to pour through the tier, taking shape as it emerged. The ancient machines began to glow, their surfaces covered in the same symbols found in the alien structure. "Sir," Elena's voice was steady despite the tension, "the machines. They're broadcasting something, not just signals now but actual words." "Let's hear it." The bridge speakers crackled with a message that sent chills down Marcus's spine. "The Guardians, stand ready. The void must not pass. We call to the Inheritors, stand with us or fall alone." Captain, Zara looked up from her station. I think they're talking to us. We're the Inheritors they mentioned. These machines, they're some kind of ancient defense system, and they're asking for our help." Marcus watched as more tiers opened across space, as ancient machines awakened throughout the sector, as darkness poured through reality itself. Humanity had inherited more than just the stars, they'd inherited an ancient war. "Send word to command," he ordered. "Tell them we're going to need every ship we can muster, and someone get me Dr. Patel on the line. We need to know exactly what we're dealing with." As the Horizon's crew prepared for what was coming, Marcus couldn't help but wonder if humanity was ready for this fight. The universe had just gotten a lot bigger and a lot more dangerous. But they didn't have a choice, the void was here, and the time for standing against it had come. Ambassador Liang Wei stood before the United Earth Council. Her traditional diplomatic robes a stark contrast to the modern architecture of the Geneva Chamber. The holographic displays behind her showed the growing tiers in space and the ancient machines that had emerged to fight them. "We face an unprecedented situation," she began, her voice clear and measured. "The Guardians, as these ancient sentinels call themselves, have offered an alliance, but they require unanimous cooperation from all Earth nations, something we haven't achieved in centuries." The chamber erupted in arguments. Representatives from the Mars colonies demanded independent action. The Luna Consortium insisted on controlling any alien technology. The Belt Federation questioned the Guardians' true motives. "Please," Wei raised her hand, silencing the chamber. "Dr. Patel's translations are clear. The void is not just another enemy, it is entropy incarnate, a force that has hunted life across countless galaxies. The Guardians were created to stand against it, and now they ask us to join their fight. And we should trust these machines," demanded Director Santiago of the South American Alliance. "They appear from nowhere and we simply accept their story." Wei activated a new hologram showing the crystal from Kepler 186f. "The evidence supports their claims. Captain Blackwood's data from the USS Horizon confirms it, but more importantly, we don't have a choice. The void is already here." As if to emphasize her point, the chamber's lights flickered as another tier opened in the solar system, this one near Jupiter's orbit. The holographic displays showed Guardian vessels moving to intercept. "Ambassador Wei," called out Chairman Akanjo of the African Union, "what exactly are the Guardians proposing?" Wei took a deep breath. "They offer to share their technology, their knowledge, but in return they need our help. The Guardians are powerful, but they are few. Their creators vanished eons ago, and they've been fighting alone ever since. They need partners, inheritors who can help maintain their vigil." "And they chose us," someone scoffed. "They didn't choose us," Wei corrected. "Dr. Patel's discovery of their signal device activated a protocol established millions of years ago. We proved ourselves worthy by achieving the technological level necessary to find and activate their beacon. Now we must prove ourselves worthy of their trust." The chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't chosen, they had passed a test they didn't even know they were taking. "I have been in direct communication with the Guardian consciousness," Wei continued. "They're willing to establish a joint command structure. They'll teach us to use their technology to understand the true nature of space and time, but we must act now and we must act together." She gestured to another hologram, showing the darkness spreading from the tiers in space. "The void grows stronger with each moment we delay. Already 3 outer colony worlds have gone dark. We can stand divided and fall or unite and fight." Chairman Akanjo stood. "The African Union votes to accept the alliance." One by one, other representatives stood. The Mars colonies, the European Confederation, the Asian Cooperative, the Luna Consortium hesitated but eventually joined. The Belt Federation followed. Wei felt hope rising as the votes came in, then the alarm sounded. "Multiple void incursions detected," announced the chamber's AI. "Guardian forces engaging, but they're overwhelmed. The void has adapted to their tactics." Wei activated her direct link to the Guardian consciousness, established through a neural interface Dr. Patel had helped develop. The ancient machine's response was immediate and urgent. "Time grows short," she translated for the council. "The void learns, adapts. We must implement the protocol immediately." "What protocol?" Director Santiago demanded. Wei's expression was grave. "The Guardians don't just want our help in fighting. They need us to become like them, to merge our consciousness with their network, to become part of their defense system. Some of us, at least." The chamber erupted again, but Wei remained calm. "I've already volunteered, Captain Blackwood and his crew as well. Dr. Patel is working on the integration process now. We don't need everyone, just enough to form a bridge between humanity and the Guardians." The holographic displays showed more tiers opening, more darkness spreading. The choice was becoming clearer with each passing moment. "The void hungers for all life," Wei concluded. "It does not discriminate between nations or species. We must do the same in our defense. Unity is no longer just a diplomatic ideal, it is a necessity for survival." As the council debated, Wei received another message from the Guardian consciousness. The void was changing tactics, growing stronger. They needed humanity's decision, and they needed it now. The fate of not just Earth but all life in the galaxy hung in the balance, and it rested on humanity's ability to do something it had never fully managed before: work together as one. Commander Nadira Hassan stood in the integration chamber aboard the Guardian vessel, watching as golden filaments of ancient technology merged with her nervous system. The process was uncomfortable but necessary. Time was running out. "Neural sync at 70%, reported Dr. Patel through the comm. "How are you feeling, Commander?" "Like my entire body is humming," Nadira replied, flexing her augmented fingers. The Guardian technology pulsed beneath her skin, turning her into something more than human. But I'm operational. The chamber's walls shifted, displaying real-time footage from across the sector. The void had already consumed 3 colony worlds, leaving nothing but empty husks where vibrant civilizations once stood. Even with humanity united behind Ambassador Wei's alliance, they were losing ground. Integration complete, announced the Guardian AI, its voice resonating directly in Nadira's mind. Command protocols transferred. You now have operational control of Strike Force Aegis. Through her new neural link, Nadira could feel them 50 Guardian vessels and their human crews, all connected, all waiting for her orders. The largest joint human Guardian fleet ever assembled. Mission parameters remain unchanged, she addressed her fleet through the neural network. We push through the largest tier, penetrate void territory, and deploy the resonance bomb. Either we seal the breach from their side or we don't come back at all. Captain Blackwood's voice came through her comm. The Horizon will provide escort as far as the tier, Commander. After that, you're on your own. Understood, Captain. And Marcus, thank you for volunteering your ship for this. The fleet moved into position, Guardian vessels seamlessly coordinating with human ships. Through her enhanced senses, Nadira could feel the void's presence growing stronger, its darkness seeping through reality's wounds. Commander, Dr. Patel's voice was urgent. The latest data from the crystal suggests the void is adapting faster than we anticipated. It's learning from every encounter. Then we better make this count, Nadira replied. All vessels, battle formations, initiate jump sequence on my mark. The tier loomed before them, a massive wound in space that seemed to devour light itself. The resonance bomb, developed by Dr. Patel using Guardian technology, was their last hope of sealing it permanently. 3 minutes to optimal breach point, reported Lieutenant Raman from the Horizon. Void entities detected on an intercept course. Nadira felt them through her enhanced senses, twisted things that had once been stars, planets, entire civilizations, all consumed and corrupted by the void. They moved like a tide of darkness, threatening to overwhelm the fleet. All vessels weapons free, she commanded. Push through at all costs, the bomb must reach the other side. The battle erupted in impossible geometries. Guardian weapons fired streams of crystallized time, while human ships launched salvos of conventional weapons enhanced by ancient technology. The void entities responded with weapons that bent reality itself. Breach point in 1 minute, Raman called out. Commander, it's been an honor. Nadira watched as the Horizon engaged multiple void entities, buying time for her fleet to approach the tier. Through her neural link, she felt the first losses, Guardian vessels, and their human crews vanishing into the darkness. Now, she commanded as they reached the breach point, all vessels maximum thrust. The fleet plunged into the tier, reality twisting around them. Ships buckled under impossible pressures. Through her enhanced senses, Nadira experienced every death, every sacrifice as her fleet was whittled down. But they pushed through. The other side of the tier was worse than anything they had imagined. Here in the void's domain, space itself was wrong. Physics broke down. Time moved in multiple directions at once. 15 vessels remaining, reported the Guardian AI. Resonance bomb primed. Nadira felt the void's attention turn fully toward them. It recognized the threat they posed. Massive tentacles of darkness reached for her fleet. All vessels, defensive formation around the bomb, she ordered. We hold until detonation for Earth, for all life. As her fleet made its final stand, Nadira sent one last message through the neural network, knowing it would reach Dr. Patel, Captain Blackwood, and Ambassador Wei. Whatever happens, don't let our sacrifice be in vain. The void must not pass, not ever. Then she gave the order that would change everything, detonate. Dr. Samira Patel stood in the restored temple on Kepler 186f, the ancient crystal pulsing with renewed purpose in her augmented hands. Around her, Guardian technology merged seamlessly with the structure's original architecture, creating something both old and new. Energy readings are stabilizing, James reported from his station. The resonance wave from Commander Hassan's sacrifice is still propagating through all known tiers. 3 days had passed since Nadira's mission. The explosion of the resonance bomb had done more than just seal the largest tier, it had created a cascade effect, a wave of energy that was slowly closing every breach the void had opened. The Guardians were right, Samira said, studying the crystal's shifting patterns. The bomb's energy signature matches the original defensive network their creators built. Nadira's sacrifice completed a cycle millions of years in the making. Through her neural interface, she could feel the approval of the Guardian consciousness. They had chosen well when they left their legacy for humanity to find. Captain Blackwood's hologram appeared in the chamber. Doctor, Ambassador Wei is ready to begin the final integration phase. How's our patient? Samira turned to where Lieutenant Raman lay in a medical pod, her body still adapting to the full Guardian enhancement protocols. After seeing Nadira's success, more volunteers had stepped forward to become bridges between humanity and the ancient machines. Zara's integration is proceeding perfectly, Samira replied. The Guardians say she'll be ready to join the network within hours. The temple's displays showed the current situation across known space. The void was retreating, its darkness pushed back by the resonance wave, but it wasn't destroyed, merely contained. The war would continue, but now humanity was ready to fight it. Ambassador Wei's hologram joined them, her own enhanced form glowing with Guardian energy. The Council has ratified the final protocols. Earth's defensive grid will be online within days. We're committed to this path now. Any word from Strike Force Aegis? Blackwood asked quietly. Samira shook her head. Nothing since the detonation, but the Guardians. They say Nadira and her crew's consciousness may have survived somehow, merged with the resonance wave itself. Protecting us even now, Wei nodded, as the Guardians have done for millions of years. The crystal pulsed again, and Samira received a new stream of data through her neural link. The Guardians are showing me more of their history, she said. This cycle, the Void's attack, finding inheritors, passing on their legacy, it's happened before, many times. But something's different this time, Blackwood noted. They're not leaving, they're staying to fight alongside us. Because we proved ourselves worthy, Wei explained. Not just by finding their beacon or accepting their technology, but by being willing to sacrifice everything to protect others. By showing that humanity, for all its flaws, could unite when it truly mattered. Through the neural network, Samira felt Zara beginning to stir in her pod. Another bridge between worlds, another defender ready to stand against the darkness. Around the temple, Guardian machines hummed with ancient power, their purpose renewed. The void will return, Samira said, watching the crystal's shifting patterns. It always does, but next time. Next time we'll be ready, Blackwood finished, all of us together. In the space between stars, the resonance wave continued to spread, carrying within it the echoes of Commander Hassan's sacrifice, the legacy of the Guardians, and humanity's promise to stand watch against the darkness. The ancient war would continue, but it would no longer be fought alone. The crystal's final message spread through the neural network, reaching all who had chosen to become part of this new chapter in cosmic history. The Guardians endure, the inheritors rise, the void shall not pass. And in the depths of space, where reality itself had been wounded, those who had sacrificed everything continued their eternal vigil, watching, waiting, protecting, a legacy of light against the endless dark.